but a beautiful woman, I admire, I've never met her in person, but she sent me a text right there as the song was playing, and it said, "Lift the stone and you will find God." And that kind of fits with what we're talking about today. Today is say yes to life. So the answer today is yes. Good, but we have to clarify that because we want to be saying yes. Now in the title, I say yes to life. You see the capital L. But a little too often, we're saying yes to the little L of life. Now the little L of life is just our limited being, our individual limited being, and we can say yes to that. But the yes we're talking about today is that big L life, the limitless aspect of life, the life that in Ernest Holmes' textbooks, he writes it with a capital L because it is the emanating principle of being. It's the aliveness that we feel. It's the God energy we're saying yes to. Do you understand what I mean? It means yes to the spiritual principles that lead us towards our best life. Now, there's levels of consciousness in this world. So the stone, as Gretchen was singing about so beautifully, which isn't really too animated, is more of an unconscious state. It does get certainly affected and smoother as life runs through. And if we lift up that stone and touch it, we can certainly feel and find God. Then there's the simple consciousness, which is a plant. And how many of you notice that plants react to our love? You better believe it. I felt so badly this week because things have been busy for the last month, and I just haven't been out tending my outside plants as much. And I said, "Kirk, I haven't fed the orchid in so long. It's not going to bloom this year." And he said, "Well, I think you should go out and look." It did it without me. It's a beautiful, long bloom, blossoms ready to bloom. And I thought, oh, thank you. Thank you. We have to do our part. But, life can take care of itself too, which is good. And then there's self-consciousness, which is that little L, which we need to be very self-conscious. We need to be aware of our place in the world because that's part of life, understanding our place in the universe. So we need that little L that leads us to where we're all headed. And that's the cosmic consciousness, which is oneness. That's what brings us together, where we can know we don't have to just lift a stone and find God, or look at a plant and see God, or look in the mirror and say, oh, that's a reflection of God. But everything we see, we know is spirit in action. Do you understand that's where we're going and what we want to do in this thing called yes? We want to do the things that take us closer to that place where we feel that at one-ment. So our prayer wall is this Sunday, and I'm going to ask you to really think and feel, what are the things that are keeping you from saying yes to all the goodness that's already present? Life is here right now. It's declaring itself in us and moving through us in this moment. There's nothing we have to do but say yes and be open to it. We have to be open to the life that's already present, but we have that free will to shut it off. How many here want a better life? We all want to be better. I mean, we love our life. My life is far from perfect, but I love my life. And we all want to keep getting better because that's the evolutionary urge within us, that God essence that wants us to keep growing and knowing, and it changes form. But we want to get better. But some of us are going about it in really the wrong way. We think we're lazy, but our minds are going all the time. And some of us are just thinking about the wrong things. We're looking in the wrong direction, not the life that's going to keep us feeling good about ourselves, feeling good about others, knowing that possibility and potential reside in every moment. We're looking the wrong way. In the Bible, when Jesus is talking to the Pharisees that were pretty tied up with this physical world and life, He said, you clean the outside of your cup and your plate, but the inside is filled with greed and self-indulgence. Looking the wrong way. We're not here to live life from the outside in. When we get what we want, then we'll be happy. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to be doing that. We're supposed to be living from the inside out, finding the joy of knowing the spiritual principles of love and beauty and truth within us, and just to expand them. Do you know how important today is, this moment? There's never going to be more God in any other moment. There's never going to be more abundance in any other moment. There's never going to be any more health than there is right now. It's all here. What's the answer to that? Yes. Yes, it's here. Now we have to claim it and own it and know it. So we need to be facing in the right direction. Too many of us are focusing on what's wrong out there, or the inadequacies we see within ourselves. And when we focus on inadequacy and what's not working, we start living in a consciousness of want, and there's not enough. And we're missing all that's already here. If we're living in want and not enoughness, then that's what we're getting back, because life reflects back to us what we put into it. That's the major tenet of this teaching, is that our thoughts are things. Now, not just one thought. Life's not going to reflect one thought. So you can have one bad thought. Have it now. And then get over it. Because it's not one thought. It's the tendency of our thinking, the energy around that. Thoughts are things. They're like little bullets of creative energy. And when we creative, even if they're good or bad, and when we put those thoughts in kind of a bundle, that's what we get back. It's the law of reciprocity, the law of circulation, the law of cause and effect. And if you and I want to say yes to the good things, the big L in life, we have to start saying yes to love, to possibility, to beauty, to kindness, to forgiveness, all those qualities that are good. That's how we tell if we're looking in the right direction. Also, what our song was about this morning, the evolutionary process of life. Life is always changing. That's what it does. It's growing and evolving. And we can't be looking back at the past going, oh, dang. I wish. Oh, why did I? I wonder. Because that's the wrong direction. We can change at any moment to make things better. To make things better. And I guarantee you, when we sat around our circle of practitioners yesterday, every person there had their own issue and situation they were dealing with. We all do. But we could focus on what's good and right and true, and how can we make things better. Now, the Bible is absolutely filled with sayings where God says, I am God of the living, not the dead. And the dead would be worrying or blaming or lack of forgiveness or not being present to all that's here, not being available. I am God of the living. I have given you life and death, blessings and curses. Choose life. Are you awake? Yes. I'm trying to be as animated as possible to keep you awake this morning and to keep me awake, because it was a busy weekend, but we want to be awake together. So let's just say, I choose life. Okay, we're going to add more to that later, but we have to choose life first, because that's what we're given. But if we're not choosing it, it's just there. Life is never, ever, ever stagnant. It's always flowing. It's a flowing through us, as us, in us, around us, everywhere. But we can choose to block it. It's always flowing. We need to choose to be in that flow of life, to continue. You know, we are here for one main purpose, for the expression of our soul. Our God self, our unique, individualized God self. We all have an important part to play in this world. We're here to be part of that flow of life, but we have to say yes. Now, it's not about giving in on your boundaries. How many people are working on boundaries? Yeah, we've got to work on boundaries. Those of us that are like nurturers and want to be there for everything and everybody all the time, you can't use yourself up. You got to set the boundaries. But we know the right thing to do when we tap in and just say, is this the highest and best right now for me, for life? You know, there's a party going on, and you're all invited. Have you accepted the invitation? I do have a couple of little readings to do from two of my favorite mystic poets. The first one's Hafez, and he said, if God invited you to a party and said, everyone in the ballroom tonight will be my guest, my special invited guest, somebody special that I chose to be at the party. Sounds pretty cool. How would you treat people as they came in if you knew they were the invited guest of God? If you knew that they were here by special invitation? Indeed, indeed. He goes on to say, and I know there is no one in this world who is not upon that jeweled dance floor. We're all the invited guests. We're all the chosen ones that have been chosen to live this life fully. What's the gift you have to bring right now to this thing called life? There's not a person here that doesn't have a gift that's wanting to be contributed. You know, when you go to a party, you bring a gift. We don't have to go out and get it. It's already here. We have to have the willingness to give it, the confidence to know that we are part of this divine plan. It's for us to be that energy and essence. Sometimes it's hard to know how to get there, isn't it? Sometimes we get off balance and we don't know how to get out of the fear or the worry or the feelings of inadequacy or there's not enoughness. The one thing we know is that if we take time to turn within and to listen to that indwelling voice of Spirit, the Spirit that says, I am God. The Bible also says, did you know you are God's temple? We hold that indwelling presence. God's Spirit is within you, and God's temple is holy. Well, if we are God's temple and God's temple is holy, what does that make us? Holy. And I don't just mean shot up with holes, because you haven't gotten what you wanted, but I mean the holy, ignited by Spirit. That's what we are. So if we just tap into that indwelling presence, if you take a breath now and we can feel it. Because our thoughts, we can say, I'm one with God, but we can affirm that, but it doesn't mean much until we feel it and own it. And we keep repeating it, as John was saying. You keep repeating the first two steps of our spiritual mind treatment. God is all there is. I am one with God. Keep repeating it until you know it. Until you know it. So the question for our prayer wall this morning is going to be, well, I'm not going to ask you that yet. Yes, I will. No, I won't. So you have, the first thing is, you can say, if you can't get there, if you just can't find the good that's present here right now, go to that indwelling presence. The other important thing, if you can't find it, start thinking thoughts of love. What else can I say? God is love. We can't think of love and not think and feel the givingness of Spirit, because that's its definition. So think the thoughts of love. And if we can't think thoughts of love, where's the problem? It's in us. It's not in anybody else. We can't keep pointing the finger. Well, they did it to me. We can think thoughts of love anytime, anywhere. It's up to us. When we love, we are loved. So now I'll tell you for our prayer wall. I don't know what people brought in here today. I know what some of us brought in, but not everybody, but we all, if you brought something in, what keeps you from thinking thoughts of love? What keeps you from being happy? Because, life is meant to be happy. Even if we think about this energy of life, life is meant to be happy. Life is meant to be lived. There's a song that wants to be sung, if that's your thing. There's a dance that wants to be danced, if that's your thing. There's art that wants to be created, if that's your thing. There's someone that needs you. There's love present everywhere if we make ourselves available. So if you think of something that's keeping you from loving, if it's anger or a lack of forgiveness or being stuck, I want you to surrender that. I want you to be willing, first of all, to surrender what's keeping you stuck. And then if there's something you want to accept, more health, more abundance, more creativity, more love, if there's something that you want to accept, you can either come up and say, I surrender my feelings of lack of forgiveness, of not being willing to forgive. I let go of my thoughts of lack. I let go. So let go or surrender or accept. I accept more abundance. I accept more love. I accept more possibility in my life right now. And that's what our practitioners and ministers know to do. Now I want to read you a really cute, meaningful little poem by my best friend that's not living. So as the practitioners and ministers get up and form a nice prayer wall, I'm going to read this to you as you're thinking of what you're going to put out there to God, as our prayer is our direct line in communication with God. Say yes quickly. Forget your little life. Say yes to God. Get up. You think you know what time it is. It's time to pray. You've carved so many little figurines in your life to worship and praise. Too many. Don't knock on any random door like a beggar. Reach your long arm out to another door, beyond the street. There's an artist inside you that you don't know. If you've opened your loving to God, your love is helping people you don't even know and have never seen. Is what I say true? Say yes quickly. If you know, you've known it from the beginning of the universe. Good old Rumi's telling us that love is there all the time. It's for us to say yes to. So, and if we can just move down a little bit, Roger, just a little bit this way, so our little bit down this way, towards your beautiful wife here. That's right, down this way. Okay, good. So I'm just going to invite you to stand with your prayer, come up and utilize one of our beautiful practitioners. We've already established the first, God is all there is, the first step of prayer. Second step, and you are one with God. close and we're finishing up the beautiful prayers, we simply release all the prayers that were spoken here in our beautiful prayer wall by our practitioners and ministers, and at your seats as they're just simply lifted into the infinite mind of God, knowing that God's only words, 2 words, are yea, yes, and amen. And so it is. The truth is done. So be it right now. We know that we've all been invited to this beautiful party of life on this jeweled dance floor that is God's essence and energy of creativity and beauty and love and goodness. We simply need to say yes and bring the gift of ourselves, the gift of love, the gift of light, the gift of joy, the gift of happiness, because we are here. We are born to be happy and filled and supplied with every good thing, and to be connected to that power and presence of love and goodness and God, and grow and evolve forever and ever. That's why we're here. We simply know we're on that beautiful floor. We've said yes. We feel the jewels and inspiration of life moving through us. We say thank you, thank you, thank you, God, for all of this and so much more. And let's say it all together really loudly. And so it is, and I say yes to life. I say yes to love. And I say yes to you, and you, and you, and you, and you. What a joyous community we have, and how blessed we are. Oh, let's leave with that and have our beautiful song to seal it all up. Thank you, Gretchen and Kirk and Gran and Tony.